Hey, everybody, and welcome back to another Mainstream Monday here on Horror Film Lovers. I'm your host, Jonathan Moody, and I'm here with
John Ward.
John Ward is back again, once again.
Once, once, once,
He's
once.
gonna keep coming back because I think this is his new
That's
show.
right.
You know,
Yeah.
um,
This is our Monday thing.
we have yes, it is our Monday thing. We don't actually.
Literally, it is our Monday thing. We
Yeah, we
we
literally
record them
do
on a
actually
Monday and
record
we
these
bring them out
on
on a
Monday.
Monday.
We don't record them on
Yeah.
the Monday that it goes out, but we
No.
record them the Monday, like couple Mondays before they go out or whatever. So good. All right, I never thought about that. That's actually mainstream Monday on Monday. There
Yeah.
you go. Um, so we're here to talk about Insidious: The Last Key. Which if you can see from the back of me, yeah, that's. I mean, I I honestly thought it was okay, you know? Like it had moments where I liked it a lot, but then overall, like after I was done, I was like, nah.
Wow. Because I will, and I know that we're going to give our rankings and stuff at the end, but at the very, very end. But I'm going to say this is my favorite one. I love this film. I think it's. I think
I didn't
it's.
find it scary at all, which is I guess none of them are really terrifying or anything, but like the first Insidious, I remembered actually freaked me out, when I first watched it. After watching it again and again, no, it didn't. The last one had some moments where I'm just like, that's creepy, This one just didn't have any of that for me, and I don't know if it's because it's once again it's one of those things where in the last movie I was like, okay, well at least I know Elise and the two guys are gonna live, you know, because they go on. There's a prequel, so there's no stakes for them at all. And in this one, what I did like was the backstory, getting more understanding who Elise is, finding out that she was beaten and be like her father treated her terribly because of her gift, which
It's weird. Is that she's almost treated like she's a mutant, like in the X-Men.
yeah,
It's
this is
because
Lee Whannell's X-Men.
yeah, because the daughter of her brother says, I see things too. So it's like, okay, well, there must be more of them out there. So they're kind of treated like, yeah, like
Well, that's a
mutants.
family thing, it seems. And so I'm
Yeah.
wondering if see, I like that. That was one of my favorite parts of the movie is that I was like, where's her spinoff? You know? Like, why didn't they do Insidious 5 to deal with her instead of the next one is the next one takes place back with Patrick Wilson's, family and everything. And I'm like, I would rather I maybe it just hasn't been announced or hasn't been shown, but maybe she does come, you know. That character comes back and helps that family, or whatever, but they just
Uh,
haven't announced that yet because just like Marvel, you don't want to give things away, You want to give big cool reveals away too soon.
right.
I haven't even seen
And
a trailer for it yet, so I honestly, had you not told me part five was coming out, I didn't even know part five was was coming out this year.
yeah, she's not listed for part five,
Yeah,
at least. So I did like how
Imogen, right? That was
Tucker,
her name,
yeah.
Imogen. I
I
like
like
that name.
how I like how Tucker calls her like the most beautiful woman in the world. He's like, so you're taking me away from the most beautiful woman like in the entire world. And I like how he's just kind of smitten with her and tries to impress her, but nothing works. Instead she likes specs because
Yep.
he's more, I guess, because maybe he's more nerdy, you know. But
She, they get a kiss at the end. I was shocked about that. I was like, holy shit.
I like when he goes in for the kiss when they're at the diner. It totally misjudges it, and
But
she like walks away, and he's like, kind of leaning into her.
right. And then later at the hospital, didn't he do something at the hospital or no?
He keeps trying to.
He did at the end. Like at the hospital, he actually did kiss the girl.
I don't know. He got the food. Specs got the girl.
Oh no, I'm saying Specs kissed her at the end.
Yeah, no, no, no. I'm talking about Tucker.
Oh, okay. Yeah. Tucker just keeps
Tucker,
trying. He keeps
Tucker
trying
got the
both of the
job.
girls, and stuff. It's kind of funny. Like, remember he's chatting up the other girl too, the other sister at one point, or whatever, like at the van and everything when they come out of the restaurant or whatever, out of the cafe, and they need his bag, you know, and they just keep, come on,
Yeah.
get over here.
Oh yeah,
And
he's talking to her at the door of the car.
yeah, and
Yeah.
he's trying to like get on. And I'm like, the whole time I'm like going, come on, guys, come on. This is
Well,
Elisa's niece. This
I
is
mean they're
Elisa's
both
nieces.
beautiful, and
That
the
rhymes.
guys are young. So why not?
These are Elisa's nieces. That
At
rhymes.
least, oh, you're a poet and you didn't even know it.
I did
You're
not,
the
because when
next
I first
Tupac.
said it, I didn't put two and two together until after I said it in my head, and I was like, oh, nice.
Your rap name could be Ice Cream.
Is there an ice cream
I
out
don't think
there?
so. I don't think so.
You
So
should market that. Literally, you
you'll
should.
fit right in.
No, you should market that. You should do that. You should find some white rapper and say, you are ice cream, buddy. And
Ice
then you
cream,
can
but it
be
has to be
like,
spelt differently though. It can't just be ice
with a
cream.
K,
Has to,
cream with a
yeah,
K,
yeah,
ice
something like that.
cream.
Yeah.
And then if you
So,
want it to be, it could be ice K. Like, ice tea, ice K,
oh,
you
because they
know.
shorten it.
Sometimes they shorten it.
He's,
And
yeah, he's actually Ice Cream, but then the hip people call him Ice K.
dude, I'm putting that in a movie. I'm stealing it. I'm sorry. It's going in a movie somewhere. There's going to be a rapper named Ice Cream. So
That's
yeah,
Ice Cream with a K.
yeah, it's going to be with a K because I came up with the K part. So you can't say, oh, that's my idea.
But they have to keep spelling it with like a C.
Yeah.
And he had, no, it's with a K.
Yeah, he has like a hello, my name is, and it says ice cream,
Yeah, but it's spelled wrong.
but
Just
it's
ice
spelled
cream.
wrong. And then he's like, damn
And he
it,
takes
I
a
told
Sharpie,
you. Didn't you look at my license, man? I changed my name to
takes the
ice cream.
Sharpie and changes the C to a K.
Crosses that out. Oh,
But
Lord.
I don't know. I really like this one. When I did my marathon where I watched it from Insidious up to, Lost Key, um, I really love this one. I still think it's the best one in the series. I love the
Is it
location
the
of like
lost
the
key or the last key?
last key, isn't it? Or is
Right,
it
I
no
thought you
Lost
just said
Key?
lost key.
No, it's last key. I just said lost. I always say
Okay.
lost. I don't know why with it. But
Okay, I was just like, whoa, that would also be a good title because it is sort of lost at one point,
it is.
or
It's true.
whatever.
In her
So,
throat.
yeah.
Um, But I really like the location of the prison. I like how we only get to the house
Mm-hmm.
and like we don't see anything really past that. But I do love the electrocutions and I love that that's all kind of off screen. And I don't know, like that guy, the actor that plays the dad is always that type of actor. Those are the roles that I guess that he gets picked to play. Um, but he just
Oh
seems,
yeah, yeah, Josh Stewart. Yeah.
yeah, he just
I actually
always seems
really
to play
like
an
him.
asshole. He does a good job of playing an asshole,
He
and
does. I mean, when he was whipping her and shit, man, I like cringed, you know.
I love when she goes as an adult when Elise goes back into the house and she could see the handprints that are up on the wall. Just how many times
Mm-hmm.
that she was beaten that she actually made that impression. And then later on, when she goes into the further, the dad puts his hands up on the wall, like right where her handprints are, so then she can beat him. So
And she
I like
does.
that. I like that there's these continuous things that kind of flow throughout the movie. But I liked all this stuff with like the mom dying and the brother and I liked all that type of stuff. I
I mean,
really
I
thought it was
dug it
good.
as a drama. I wasn't terrified at all for this movie.
I don't know if you are meant to be terrified by this one
I maybe not.
because
Um,
yeah, I mean there isn't that many. There's creepy stuff like the hand coming around a corner or something.
And there's like, I mean, the demon itself is pretty creepy looking. But I don't know. Just all in all, I more, yeah, I saw it more as a drama, you know, where it was sort of like unfinished business because like at the end of the movie, she says something about how she's uh something about needing a family and finally having a family before she dies and stuff. And she says it so poetically. I can't do Lin Shay justice. She doesn't. It's sort of weird though. Her, like, I guess I'm guessing it's from the original like Insidious or whatever, and they continued it because I haven't watched the first. We're gonna be watching
Yeah.
the Insidious next, but first one. But when she like holds them like the two guys together and has her arms wrapped around them and stuff. That is so weird to me. That I'm sorry. It was
I
from the
I
was
I
from
don't
the
know.
third one. I mean, the third one showed that, introduced that in a way, but I think maybe it was in the first Insidious that they first introduced it. I don't remember, you know.
I mean that didn't bother me. I mean, she's kind of, I don't know, maybe kind of like a mother figure, or that they're just, good friends
It was a little
now.
weird
And
to me. Like, I don't know. I don't see anybody doing that ever. And I
I
just,
think it's meant to be playful, I guess. The only thing I did watch, and I keep forgetting to watch the stuff because it's not on the disc, but I only watched one thing on YouTube, and that was the like alternate ending, which
mhm.
was awful.
Oh, so
And
they were good to pick this ending.
yeah, like the demon gets the T-1000 knife arm. Like it actually morphs into the knife,
Okay.
and then the dad blocks it. And she's Elise is making jokes. So
That just feels
when
out of
she's,
place.
yeah, like she goes face right up to the demon, and like right before she kills it, she goes, like, because its mouth is open, and she's like this far away, she goes, get a breath mint, and then she stabs it.
The one-liners.
So it's like I
The
went,
Arnold
what?
Schwarzenegger one-liners,
Yeah, like what is this? Like
Uh,
what the hell? Get a breath mint? So I'm
Get
glad
a
all that
breath
stuff.
mint.
So maybe because that might have been the original ending, maybe that kind of goes over into her doing the arm thing, and they were just trying to.
Yeah, no, I liked, yeah, I did like the ending, the original, I mean, this ending, though, because I think
Yeah,
it tied everything up, and then you get to see like the big call, or whatever to to deal. I honestly, another thing I sort of wish that they had done is like set things a little further back, you know, so that way you didn't just get two movies before the first Insidious. You might have gotten like three or four. You know what I mean? There could have been I mean, I guess they could go further, but we wouldn't get specs and we could have gotten into like her what she was like growing up after, you know, after she moved away. We could get that storyline at some point, but
I I think I'm not sure if it's one or two, but we do see young Elise, and it's
okay.
not Lin Shay.
I hate to say it though. I mean, I guess if because it is his sister, like I get it, but like honestly, she does not look anything like she used to, like when like the little girl that he knew, could he really like she didn't reach out to him before? Like if she had reached out to him and tried to like contact him or something and said, I'm coming to your town, I hope to see you kind of thing, that would make sense. But like her showing up, talking to the daughters, knowing I mean, her knowing that who they are is part of her psychic ability. He doesn't have
I
a
don't think
psychic
she
ability.
I don't think she knew who they were at all.
No, I think he did. She did.
No, I don't think so at all. I think
But
that she
she said a line to them, to the daughter. The girl said, "You remind me of somebody I used." that used
Yeah,
to live around here, which
yeah, you remind
meant
me of
that
somebody.
I'm pretty sure that I know who
I
that was what
didn't
I
get
got from
that.
it, because
I
right
didn't get
before then I
that.
was like, oh, is the dad gonna is her brother gonna show up like right after that? And he did. And I was like, okay, they, you know. So then he sets up and then he looks at her, right? And she goes, "Hi, Christian," right? And I'm
Yeah.
like thinking, there's no way, no way he's even gonna know who she is. And of course,
I don't know. I think
she doesn't look like she did back then.
relatives could can tell each other.
Oh no, I don't think so. She doesn't sound like it either. She didn't sound like it didn't she didn't when she left and she never came back. She never saw him again after she moved away.
Well, it's now, of course, we're talking about stuff that wasn't shown, so we don't know. But I mean, she could be keeping track on him, but
Right.
he wouldn't be keeping track
And
on
that's what I'm
her.
saying. He wouldn't know what she
But
looked like.
I think she talked to the two daughters, not knowing who they are, but you remind me of somebody, and then, um, which maybe it could have been even herself. And then once she kind of realized what they were, and then when Christian walks in and he looks at her, maybe from her facial expression or her eyes or something
Hmm.
like that, he's like, "Get away from me! I don't want to talk to you. Get away from me."
Right. But he knew exactly who she was
I
from
think
like
he could
this.
probably tell.
I don't know. I'm not saying I can tell what
I
my
mean, he doesn't look anything like the kid.
Yeah, he doesn't. He doesn't look anything like the kid. That's another thing, though. But maybe once again, I can buy that because she's psychic, you know, and she knows she can tell these things. She senses these things. She knows these things. Whatever. That I just let slide. Him saying, and I could be completely wrong. Look, if you had a sibling and you hadn't seen them since they were a child and you're grown up, you know, would you recognize them? Maybe, maybe, but it seemed pretty quick that he recognized her. Like the second he saw her, he was like, "Get away from like girls, let's go, let's get out of here, let's get away from
Well,
this."
I mean, you also have to make the story move forward. I mean, she can't spend 20 minutes going, "Look, it's me, it's me. Look, it's me, it's me." It's they
No, but
have
she
to.
could just say, "It's me," and he goes, "Whoa." Like I wasn't expecting to see you here kind of thing. And then be like, daughters, let's go. I don't want to deal with her, that kind of thing. That the fact that he knew exactly who she was the second basically he saw her, I just don't buy. I just don't buy it, you know.
I have no problem with it at all.
It's
I
so
think.
funny because I don't have any problem with this with her knowing who he is because of supernatural shit in my head. It's supernatural story, whatever. That makes sense. His stuff's real. Like he's lives in the real world where he doesn't go into the further. She is crazy and has these things, and maybe she does keep tabs of what he looks like. You know,
But I mean,
um,
he walks in, and then she's like, and he's
and she
stopped for
kind
a
of senses
moment.
him. She can kind of
But
sense him.
so when she says, "It's me, Christian, it's me," do I look that different or whatever it is? It's maybe it takes him a second, and then he's just like, "Oh shit, get away from me!" Now, okay, now I recognize you.
Maybe.
It doesn't bother me at all. I think it's for a movie. It's perfectly fine. I mean, it's what I find worse in films is when they have a completely different actress from part 3 to part 4, hence Nightmare on Elm Street, and they look nothing alike. They don't act alike. They
But
don't
you're
talk
supposed to
alike.
just go with that because they, I mean,
It's
you're right. It should have been a
that's
different,
that's what Tuesday night, should have walked into the high school, and all of her friends are like, "And you are?
or they
Guys,
should have been
it's
like,
me."
yeah, they should have been like, wow, you've changed.
Yeah, wow, the summer really, you really changed over the summer. So
Right, something like that, a joke like that or something.
that
But yeah,
stuff bugs me more than this, because I know we got it. You got to get the movie going. You can't dwell on it. So you
Just like
know.
us, we got to keep this podcast going. We can't dwell on the fact that,
So
that stuff. So
I
anyway,
mean, I don't have. I mean, I like all the stuff with the brother because he says that you left me with the real monster,
right.
meaning that the kid, that he has a kid, probably got the shit beaten out of him.
Yeah, he got the shit kicked out of him, and then we find out more about what her dad was doing, which was nothing
Killing all
good, man.
those,
He
yeah,
was
killing all those girls.
killing girls in his back, and when she saw the girl, she thought that was a ghost. It wasn't a ghost.
See,
He
I
was
love that. What a good little twist. I
that
like
was
that.
I don't mind it. I don't mind
You
that
hate
stuff.
this
Like
movie. You
I
hate
don't
this
hate
movie.
this movie at all.
You
No, I don't
do.
hate it. No,
I bet this movie is going to be it's going to be number 4
it
on
will
your
probably,
ranking.
but that doesn't
How
say I hate
rude.
it. That
Well, it's number
doesn't
1 on mine.
I know. See, it doesn't mean I hate it. It just means that I didn't like it as much as the other ones, but that doesn't, but I really, the part three was pretty damn good. Even though with its plot holes and flaws that we saw. And that's probably going to be number four on yours. That's going to be last on yours is number three, most likely, you know, and that's
Yeah, probably.
fine, you know. Um, it's fine. So you say
It's
fine all the time.
fine. It's fine.
I say and you say fine. We've got our things. Um, but when I was watching this one, I didn't hate the movie. I just I found like it just felt different, which is good. I mean, it's a different thing. It's just not what I don't, and maybe it's another movie that'll like grow on me and I'll start liking it more. But I think what my expectations were another scary, especially with like I forgot what is it. Maybe it's like the key is a hand or something, finger or whatever in the poster and stuff. And I just always thought that like this is gonna be creepy and scary. And it's really it's okay. It's got its moments where I'm like, oh God, what's gonna happen next? But I think the problem with me in this is that that the bad guys had always been ghosts in these movies. Like the ghosts are the problem, right? Like it's scary because they go into the further and the further has all those ghosts and things like that. This movie has the villains are really real people, and
Well, they're possessed,
they're possessed by this
basically.
one demon
Yeah.
who's controlling everything. And we don't even find out anything about this demon. We don't know the demon's name. We don't know. We don't even. I don't even think they called it anything. It's just demon, get back. Which I guess makes sense because unless you were a demonologist or something, or whatever, and like Lorraine and Ed, you might not know what every demon, all the demons are called or something or have
Well, and
names.
and Ghost Mom bashes it, and
Yeah,
it just like she hit like a home run with the demon and just threw it into the darkness. So it's not like it's dead. I mean, it could come back.
it could come back. But that was great because mom comes back with the whistle and everything, and then she gives the whistle over to Christian at the end. I'm like, I guess that's good in case a ghost come and haunt him. But
Well, it's his whistle.
it's his whistle. But she used it to get herself out of trouble and with the mom coming, right? The mom, I guess was it ever established? I don't remember the beginning if it was ever established that the whistle was there for protection with the mom, right?
Well, she gives it to Christian and says, like, blow it 3 times and then I'll be in.
Okay.
So then when Elise, when she's the kid, is talking to like the little girl or little kid in the closet, he's like, "Where's my whistle? I don't have my whistle." So they somehow the spirit or whatever took it.
Yeah, she took the took the whistle.
Yeah.
And um who was the little boy in the closet? Did they ever figure that out? Just another
N-
dead ghost?
Yeah, they mentioned that the little boy died in the house, but it was a while back. Like it wasn't a connection. It was just a ghost.
It's just a ghost that because that was a cool thing. Like that house has had countless people die in it, including the mom. So I always thought, wow. And then other I guess the spirits of all the girls that got murdered at that house from the dad, killing everybody. And then that one guy, I kind of like it how they try to explain things so that the audience doesn't have questions. Like there's that one point where it was I guess it's exposition, but it was like the cop is saying, why would he call you if he knew what you did and there was a chance that he could get caught, you know? And
Yeah,
she was like, probably, she made up a good reason, which was that there was the fear of the unknown and what was going on, was greater than the fear of getting caught, you know. Or, because and the guy was like, well, maybe he wanted to get caught. And I'm like, what? Why would you want to get caught? Like that?
well, I mean, they say that a lot of times these people that they do want to get caught, but it's like an arson going back to the fire that's blazing. That so they could see it is a lot of the times with stuff like that. They say that these people are just they want to get caught.
Mm-hmm.
But they and maybe this guy that took over the house, I mean, he does say that he wished that she never went down there and that she never found it. And then Elise is like, well, the ghost led me down here. But maybe it was him who called Elise, but then the demon thing was in him. So he's kind of going back and forth, kind of like a golem type of thing.
Yes, master. I want my precious whistle.
I want my key.
I want my
Oh yeah,
key. The
the
whistle.
whistle. Yeah,
The
yeah.
last whistle. Um,
I would love to live in that friggin' house. I would love it. You go through those like when Elise is an adult and they go through the gates that are all kind of like bent and they got ivy all over them and it's just a rundown prison and you still got like the oil things going back and forth and I'm just like fuck. I would love to live there. That would be awesome. And you go down into that giant friggin' I thought it was a basement, but no, they said it was a bomb shelter.
it
And
was well, it was cool that it was like there was the prison and the people are getting electrocuted like above them, I guess, or
yeah, and the
something.
lights are like yeah. So then all that electricity is coming off probably the same thing.
It's
So
crazy.
when they're throwing the switch, it cuts the electricity in the house, so like it slows it down a little bit.
It's crazy.
So I
No,
would love to live in that, but I wouldn't want to live in it when they were executing people. I want to live in it when the guy's living in it, and like when everybody's an adult. Because then
no.
you go up and you shoot a bunch of movies in the prison, and you could rent it out. And
And then ghosts pop out and scare the shit out of you.
but see, I
And
don't believe in ghosts, so the ghosts would never be there.
I don't wait. So because you don't believe it, that doesn't mean they don't exist.
Correct.
All right.
They
Okay.
if you yeah, I mean to me ghosts don't exist. So that's why I've said you could challenge me and put me into a haunted house, a haunted graveyard. I'd be perfectly fine and I'd win that $1 million. Unless the only thing that might scare me is if the people who told me to go in there were then doing shit in the house, which then would be cheating.
That is
But
cheating.
then if somebody just said, we're not going to do anything, we're going to leave, just stay in the haunted house or the haunted cemetery or whatever. And if you survive until 8 a.m. when we open up the gate or the door, win $1 million, I'd win that $1 million.
So would Paul probably too, because you both, scientifically. Um, what I mean, to me, it'd be more fun if it were real, you know?
Well,
And so, so
unless the ghost or demon like try to kill you.
well, technically, I mean, and we talked about this on Indie Film Cafe last night because we did Devin's Ghost, which I guess I could say, even though It's not going to come out to like September, so people are going to forget anyway. Um, but the thing with ghosts is ghosts can't touch you, technically. They have no mass nor energy. They can't really actually physically touch you in real
Then
life if it
how do
were
they
a real
pull a
ghost.
sheet down?
Well, they can't. None
They're
of that
always
stuff can
pulling
actually
sheets.
technically happen, you know? In the
How can they
real,
move a door?
they can't. That's all movie stuff.
But ghosts are only in movies because ghosts don't exist.
I think there are
It's
there
all in.
are things
It's
that we
right
can't
here.
explain that.
It's right here. The one thing I'm not buying, and I don't know if it was The Conjuring or Insidious, I forget, but there was something where somebody said the most susceptible people to like ghosts and demons and all that with possession are atheists because they don't believe anything, so they're the weakest. And I
Interesting.
would say that is absolutely 100% wrong. I would say that atheists are stronger because they don't believe. I would say people who do believe and they fear
Yeah,
are more
no.
susceptible to it. You open something up if you're terrified of something.
Yeah. Yeah, if you have more
So
fear, you know, uh fear fear loses, at all times for you. Like if you're afraid of a ghost or whatever, then yeah, a ghost would be able to haunt you, you know. But I guess if it were real, you know. I mean, I always like to like get into that mindset that this shit's real just because it's more fun that way. If you don't, do I really think that there are ghosts? I don't know. Like, I don't know. I've never seen one. That doesn't mean they don't exist, you know?
doesn't mean that they do.
Yeah, exactly. So until I see one,
You
I'm
know,
just gonna say
that's
they exist
you
in
can
the
say that about
movies.
Bigfoot too. You know, I've never seen Bigfoot, so
Never seen the
maybe it
Loch Ness
exists.
Monster. I've never seen
But
aliens.
hey,
I've never
just
seen an
because
alien, but that doesn't mean it doesn't exist out there in the wide universe.
well, an alien I think would be more logical than a ghost because the alien doesn't have to be a xenomorph or a little green man. It could be an amoeba. It
You
could
mean like
be
from was it the faculty? Wasn't that what those things were?
well, something like that. It could be, that we land on Venus or something and instead we find some sort of liquid and within that liquid there's life. But you have to scoop it and put it under a microscope to see it.
Hmm.
So I believe that there could be alien life out there. Yeah, just not like a xenomorph or Mars Attacks or ET, just not like that. So to me that doesn't make
Predator.
yeah. I mean, I would say The Thing, John Carpenter's The Thing would probably be maybe the closest because
Maybe.
it's not it's everything that it came in contact with.
Right.
So it might have started out this big and then came in contact with somebody and became this big and then something else and then something and it just became what we see.
At the end of the movie.
Yeah.
Great movie.
Yes, it
Um,
is. So
so
that's why I think with I always forget his name. Don't tell me. Specs and don't tell me. Damn it, John. Don't tell Jonathan. Don't tell me.
you kept
Tucker.
saying his name earlier.
I know Tucker. And Specs and Tucker is. I don't think they believed in anything. That's why in part 3, the dad called them out on it, saying you're fakes.
I think they were fakes. Like they were running around saying we're ghost hunters because it was cool, you know?
It's cool and it's simple because like all of these ghost shows or Bigfoot shows or Loch Ness monster films, if you try to find something that doesn't exist, you could do 20 seasons because you're never going to find it. It's just in one episode a lamp moves and the next episode a door moves, or hey, look at that footprint. It looks like it's 12 feet, long, or oh, look, there's poop. Maybe that's Bigfoot poop. And it just none of this stuff exists. So that's what I think they're doing is that they were grifters and they're like, hey, here's our web show, and we're total fakes, and they were
What
called out on it.
what was up with Tucker doing the whole side the sidekick thing? I
Oh, so I think he was trying to be funny, and it completely failed.
twice and it
Yeah.
got annoying. I was like, this is please stop
Well,
it.
it would be annoying, I think, if he did it 3 times.
It
But
it
two
was
is
annoying twice. I
two.
mean,
No, I didn't think so. I thought it was kind of funny. Is he tries it once and it totally fails, so he tries it again and it fails again. It's like in Mean Girls when one of the Mean Girls is trying to get Fetch to be a
oh man,
thing.
some people actually say that's fetch and then now, and I'm just like, what the fuck's wrong with
Thank
you?
God I've never heard anybody say it. But it was funny because she said it like 3 or 4 times, and then finally it's not going to be a thing, But he realized it after 2 times, so I thought that was funny. I liked it.
Yeah, he the second time he was just like, never mind. He walked away. Like, but I it didn't like the first time I was like
This is going to be your
crickets.
number four, man. This is going to be your number four. You were not saying a lot of positive things about this movie.
It's not that I hate the movie or anything. I mean, and it's not something I wouldn't like ever watch again. Like I did, I would watch it again. It's just like, yeah, I like I like three better. I even though it had issues, you know, I like the two girls. Like they know how to pick hot girls to be like in the movies and stuff or whatever in the
Oh yeah.
series. And I mean, when I saw those two girls, I'm like, oh man, they're not staying, are they? Like I thought they were just gonna be like a thing for Tucker and Dale. I'm calling them Tucker and Dale
Tucker and
because
Dale?
versus
Are
Evil.
they
You ever seen
versing
that movie?
evil?
Yeah.
Yes, it's a
Um,
great film.
great film, but no. Tucker and Specs, and I thought it was just them to just joke on them or whatever, like, oh yeah, we're gonna show off that these guys are just horn dogs who whatever. And then they join the group, become more of a thing. And I was like, that's pretty cool. And then I looked up
Yeah.
Insidious 5 and was like, why isn't she back? Like, did they just forget it that they were gonna go with like were they thinking of going with this and they chose not to? That's like my question.
Well, to get Patrick Wilson back, he probably said, I need to do my story. We need to continue with that.
Yeah, but
And so that way he could
do we
direct
really
and,
need
and
to
act.
continue with that? Like,
Well, we'll
um,
find out by
I
the
guess
time
we'll
we end,
find out.
with
I just the
part
only
two.
problem I have with it is like I thought he was done. Like his ghost stuff. We had two movies. That's enough. We're done. Move on. We moved on to more Elise stuff because Elise really became the real focus of Insidious. She became the both both of the Warrens mixed into one, you know, um,
Right.
in my opinion. And I mean, she carried that movie. It was like the chick from the I forgot Zelda Rubinstein or whatever from Poltergeist.
Follow the light.
Oh, Carolyn,
Follow the light. But you
this
told her
house
not to
is
go into the light.
the
No,
house is clean.
go into the house. Thank you for saying house. I was going to say light, but you said house, and so I said house.
No, following going to the house.
I
I mean,
I
whatever.
mean, I love specs and stuff. I think that they're hilarious. I think
They
I
need
love.
their own show too, like because they
I
don't
would like
they
to. I
don't
would watch
die
a.
in the they don't
I'd see a
die
spinoff.
in part two. So like, why don't they come back? You know, like I noticed that Lee Winnell has not acted since Aquaman. You know, kind of makes me sad. You know.
Well, because he's developing Upgrade.
Oh, I know he's busy directing and producing and writing. Like he's a busy guy. I'm not saying he's not busy. It's
But
just
maybe
I'd
they
love to see
didn't.
Max more.
Maybe they just didn't want to just repeat The Conjuring and just do a whole bunch of spinoffs. Instead, it's just we'll do these movies, and you see specs of stuff. You see them evolve. You
Well,
know
yeah,
how
'cause
they.
Blumhouse, if you notice, don't really do spinoffs, or whatever. Like Warner Brothers does. Warner Brothers has spinoffs Harry Potter series, as the DC series, as the
Right.
Conjuring series. I mean, they're all, you know, all cinematic universes. This isn't really a cinematic universe. This is just a franchise. It could be a cinematic universe. Um, Especially if they did a Imogen like storyline, solo storyline, like following her. But then again, you saw what happened with how badly S Darko was received. Even though I've heard mixed reviews, I've never seen it.
I am the only person in the entire world that liked it.
Yeah,
So
so
I
I think you've told me that. That's why I think I
yeah.
brought that up. But that's the thing, is like a
Well,
lot of
but
people pan that movie, but
yeah, but that wasn't made by anybody who worked on the first film except for the sister. I mean,
yeah.
it's a completely like nobody wanted to work on it. But this would be, Lee Winnell writing it and maybe directing it, or so it would.
Or just producing it, once again, like just like James Wan, he could just produce it and have somebody else, take over.
He,
But
I mean, we'll have to see. I'm assuming
that he
that
wrote part five.
yeah, and that he has a part in it. So yeah,
I
and
know
I do like how all of these talk about the dark, and the fifth one is called Fear the Dark.
nice.
Um, Directed by Patrick Wilson, screenplay by Scott Teems, story based on, but the story is by Lee Winnell.
Yeah, see, he's now even leaving the franchise. Like he's producing it with Ryan Turek. Nice. Um,
So it
it,
looks like yeah, the kid is back, Patrick Wilson is back, Rose Byrne is back. Oh wait, who's okay, yeah. So that's Ty's the kid, the son. Andrew asked her as Foster Lambert. I don't remember that. And then the rest of the names, and additionally, I do not recognize.
all right, so I did post that I watched Insidious: The Last Key, right? And my friend Chris O'Braki, I'm gonna give him a shout out. He wrote, "I love the Insidious franchise, but I was a bit let down with this one. I just felt like it didn't pack the punch coming off such a great part three. Maybe I'll give it another shot." Ha! So I'm not the only one who feels that way, and maybe I do need to give it another shot later down the line, like in a couple of years or something, or a year, or whatever. Just give it another try because I think maybe I'll feel different, you know, later or whatever when I had some time to like sit on it. But once again, I felt like this was more of Elisa's story. Wonderful. I like that, you know, but it felt more dramatic and more about her backstory than it was more about being terrifying, and that's fine. That's fine. But it didn't feel Insidious like. It felt like a different project. And you know what? Even this movie sets off in a different thing. Because the original one's called Insidious, and then it's Insidious Chapter 2, then Insidious Chapter 3, and now it calls itself The Last Key. Like it sets itself differently than the rest of them.
Well, it also doesn't have the music at the very beginning, because remember when it comes up with Insidious, it's like
Yeah. So
it like
there's a
shakes
lot
your
of
entire house. That's
yeah.
not in this. It's much calmer music.
So it's sort of a different project, which I applaud them for doing that. I'm not saying that I don't, you know, like it's just not it was just not for me. Like I was like, yeah, it's okay. And I did feel like it had that witty of dialogue, you know? Like it felt
Take a breath, Mint.
well, I'm glad it didn't have that. Glad they got rid of that shit. Um, Jeez, maybe once he saw that, he was like, you know what, maybe I should stop with the Insidious movies. And I'm
Well, I
starting.
think this one is slightly darker in a way because they are murdering women down in the bomb shelter. You know, it's not just a person being possessed. It's these men murdering these young women for no reason at all.
It was also directed by Adam Robitel, who directed The Taking of Deborah Logan and other projects. And
Well,
from what I've
he did a
understood,
Paranormal Activity, the Ghost Dimension.
right, so what I've understood is The Taking of Deborah Logan, which don't think was produced by Blumhouse. I think it was an more independent project, if I'm correct. Um, it might have been produced by a studio, but I don't think Blumhouse did it. Um,
I'm looking right now.
yeah.
Eagle Films and Millennium Entertainment.
Yeah. So it
Is
was
what they're.
more, yeah, it might have been a studio, but not a big studio. It's not Warner Brothers or, Blumhouse or anybody like that. Um, and he, from what I've understood, because I haven't seen it, I want to see it, and I read about it and everything. Because I've heard of it. I've heard that name, and it's on Prime, so I'm probably gonna watch it sometime soon because I want to see his work because I feel like he might have had some influence on it as far as the tone of it, you know? Like, I feel like the tone is different.
I mean, it's possible. I mean, I'm looking at his stuff right now. He didn't. I thought he did. He did not direct Paranormal Activity: The Ghost Dimension. He wrote it,
Oh, okay.
but he did direct. Yeah, the Deborah Logan, Insidious: The Last Key, Escape Room, and the second Escape Room, the
Yeah, he
Tournament
did
of
the escape room
Champions.
movies, which I don't know, didn't really interest me, but I'll probably, once again, probably check it out.
He seems more like an actor than he is.
Well, he was an actor, you know. He acted in a bunch before um he acted in 11. I think what from what I've understood, and I could be wrong, so uh don't take my word for it, but I did look it up, and he was a behind the scenes film director for a little bit. He did like the behind the scenes, like 2001 Maniacs, the remake, and stuff like that. And
Oh,
I
if that's true, I might have actually been on set with him
you probably were.
because that's the Cliff and I went to that.
He acted in it as Lester as well. He was in it.
Yeah, so that's yeah, it might have been.
That's probably
I
how
had
he
no
got the
idea.
job because Lin Shaye was in that movie. He probably knows Lin Shaye. And she was like, "Hey, Adam Robitel's a great director. You should hire him." You know?
Not this Lee Winnell fuck. Get him out of there.
Well, I think Lee at the time was directing Upgrade and stuff, so he probably had to take a step back, you know? Um, so I think that was around the last key was around the time of Upgrade or so. Um, but yeah, Lee did a great job on Upgrade and a great job on Part Three,
Oh, he's
and
a good
I
director.
mean,
He's a
he's a
very
great
good director.
director.
Yeah.
Invisible Man aside, maybe. I'm not huge.
No, the Invisible Man. It's got a great score. It's well directed. It's well edited.
No, I'm not saying he didn't do a
The
good job
effects are really
editing.
good. But the worst thing about it is the story,
Yeah, the writing.
and it's unfortunate that he wrote it because there are so many ways that if the female lead didn't go left and she went right, the Invisible Man's plans would be ruined. There's also so many times in the movie where like a cop would go, explain to me what's going on. And she'd be like, I can't. Never mind. You won't believe me. I can't. There are so many times where she could have reached out to people. Maybe they think she's nuts or not. But it's like, oh my God, just talk to somebody.
Right?
Say something. It's like the only reason why this movie keeps moving forward is because she doesn't say anything. Come on. She's in a restaurant. The invisible man goes up behind her sister and slices her throat, and then takes the knife, and we see it in the air bounce over to the lead's hand. Nobody in the whole restaurant saw this. They all said that she got up, split the throat, and then sat down again. This doesn't make sense.
Yeah.
So I think it's his worst written film. And I get what he's doing, that maybe he's going for kind of like female empowerment and all that stuff, because she does get him in the end. But I think it's his worst movie
Oh, damn.
as far as writing goes. Yeah.
I'm excited. Aren't they doing an upgrade too, if I'm correct?
Well, upgrade the TV series.
Upgrade the TV series. Okay. And Lee Winnell's producing that?
Yeah, that's is one of the times when I looked him up, and I think that it said that he's, because I thought, wow, this would make a good TV series, and then it was like, oh, he's making it into a TV series.
Cool. Blumhouse has been doing a lot more stuff with TV, so it would be cool if the Insidious franchise and Paranormal Activity franchise and all that stuff go into TV. You know?
Well, it makes sense. Trying to see.
Like The Purge went into TV, but I don't know if I don't think it got more than one season.
It got two, and it wasn't very good. I stopped.
Well, the problem is you can't make The Purge on made for TV, yeah, unless it's like HBO, you know?
Well, I think it was Netflix, wasn't it?
No, it wasn't. It was Sci-Fi Channel.
Oh.
Something like that, like
Well,
USA Network.
Chucky is horribly violent, and that's Sci-Fi Channel.
Yeah, but
that's really gory.
yeah, and that's late night, so maybe they get away with a lot more, you know.
What did I?
I don't know. All in all, I just to go back to Insidious, The Last Key, it was okay for me. Like it was fine. Like it was not a bad movie, you know.
Yeah, here it's 2018. Jason Blum had plans for a potential sequel. This is Upgrade. Lee Winnell expressed enthusiasm about making a follow-up. I would love to make the film. I would love to do it, but for more money. He stated that he would love to do a sequel. May 2020, it was reported that the sequel was being worked on into a TV series with Winnell.
On IMDb, it says there is an Upgrade TV series that's directed by Lee. But
in addition to directing the series, he would co-write it along with another guy,
Tim Walsh.
Tim Walsh as showrunner. Both guys are executive producers. It is set to be produced series alongside the UCP, who have set up a writer's room.
Maybe they can bring Megan. Into it.
Well, it says the plot of the series is that it's a few years after the events of the film, which has an evolved version of STEM and a new host. The government is using STEM as a way to curb criminal activity. So
that sounds like fun, man. Sounds like RoboCop, but with like Lee Winnell's stuff. If Lee Winnell made RoboCop,
Well, we'll see. I mean, it sounds like Minority Report too.
Yeah. Well, no, because it's in a Minority Report where they can like predict when when you're going to do something, like when you're going to murder somebody.
STEM's trying to curb
but it sounds like a vigilante type thing where he's killing all the bad guys that are going around, causing
I guess it's just
criminals.
How they use trouble. We will have trouble. So, well, let's do let me look at this. So Insidious, The Last Key. So it had a budget of $10 million.
$10 million.
and it made 167.9 million.
Pretty good.
Made some good money there.
Yeah.
And I want to take a look at part 3 just to be reminded on that one. Part 3, so 10 million budget. Part 3 had an $11 million budget, and it made 113 million.
So it made more or less. I can't.
So
Hold on.
remember 113, 113, 113,
113.
113 to 167.9.
Okay. So the third one did really well or did well, and then the fourth one was like, we're gonna kick, that out of the water because they were like, people are excited to see that because the third one did well,
Yeah,
maybe.
I'm surprised we didn't get a fifth one immediately.
Well, I think also remember COVID came in at one point, and I think that was like, so the last key came out in 2018. I bet they were planning to do one and it would release around 2020, but then things happened and then they weren't able to make it in like 2020 or whatever,
Yeah.
you know? So, because like a lot of times it takes about 2 years before you're able to make the sequel because you're trying to collect all the money, unless you're shooting shit back to back to back like Mr. Cameron or the Lord of the Rings peoples.
Right. Oh, Insidious 5 is July.
By the way, I was laughing so hard. Nice. I was laughing so hard because I was watching Entourage, old episodes of Entourage. I was watching all the Aquaman stuff, and just the idea of like James Cameron directing Aquaman, starring Vincent Chase.
But I read a long time ago when that came out is an interview with Cameron, who said that the only way that he would do the show is if Aquaman was a hit, because all of
Right.
his movies are a hit. So he's like, yeah, this thing has to be like the biggest movie ever
They
if I'm going to
mentioned
do
that
the
in the
show.
movie too. They said even if the movie is a piece of shit, it'll make like bank money and stuff. That they're like with the director like Cameron, right? And that was like a line in the show. So like obviously they put that line to make James Cameron happy. But my favorite bit is the fact that at one point they're sitting in the restaurant and this restaurant guy comes up and is like, "Hey, you guys want Leo's table?" Leonardo DiCaprio. Like Leo's table is like, "Yeah, why is he not going?" "Oh, he's going to Paris to talk to Cameron about some fish movie."
Oh.
And I was like, "Ooh, a Leonardo DiCaprio Aquaman. That would have been interesting too, you know?" Like I kind of would have bought it more about with Leo than Vincent Chase, but
I I never thought my big problem with Entourage was the lead. I never thought that he would be that big. I just he doesn't have the looks. He doesn't have I it always bothered me like this guy would not be like the biggest thing ever. He just wouldn't.
And you know what? After Entourage, I mean, Adrian Grenier went on to act and stuff, but it was like more independent stuff. And, like he was in a Bruce Willis movie called Marauders, and he was in a couple other things, but he hasn't really been the lead, of anything. And he's
Yeah,
not the
and
lead
I
of
have
Hollywood.
nothing against him as an actor or whatever. It's just I think that he was really miscast. I mean, especially if this is supposed to be
Mark
kind of
Wahlberg.
Mark Wahlberg's story. Well, Mark Wahlberg was never that. He was never the biggest thing ever. So
He's still a big star. He's a big
he was
star.
a star, but he wasn't
Yeah, he
that big
wasn't Brad
as the
Pitt,
show. Yeah, it's not
or
what the
anything.
show showed, I don't think.
But I mean, he would have had a chance to maybe do a superhero movie, but he's probably the exact idea of what mm, I don't know, because like Vincent at times was like talking about how he would rather do nothing than do something he didn't love doing. You know, that was his you know,
Well,
big.
everybody needs their, if you act in Twilight, you then have to go do a whole bunch of indie movies and then you get respected.
Right.
So,
Yeah.
which is now what Robert Patterson has, and of course,
The
Stewart and
lighthouse
stuff.
and stuff like that. Yeah.
Yeah, Lighthouse, Batman, and Stewart then went off to go do the Princess Di movie, and both of them were in David Cronenberg films. So it's that's what you do to get respect. You don't do you know
Yeah. Exactly. But anyway, I just thought it was really funny just rewatch because I'm just rewatching Entourage and just seeing all the because the second season is actually my favorite season. So it's just funny to see all the Cameron stuff, Aquaman, and that does tie into the whole James Wan thing because James Wan ended up directing Aquaman. But
there
Jason
you go.
Momoa, which is I guess, I mean, he's not Vincent Chase, like he's a completely different version, you know. But once again, it would have been really cool. It would have been neat if they got like Leonardo DiCaprio, but Leonardo DiCaprio has never done a superhero movie yet. Um,
The weird thing is Leo looks more like the comic book character
right,
because the comic book character is blonde,
blonde, and
and and he
he's yeah,
and he doesn't have a beard. He just looks more like a person.
right. And yeah, and even Vincent didn't have a beard when he played Aquaman. It was Jason Momoa who did, or whatever. They just tried to make him a different character. But I did love that they showed the suit that they had for him, and it looked literally like the comic book, right? It just did look really, it looked terrible, but it looked like the comic book suit and stuff. And I was like, okay, well, that's interesting that Warner's in Entourage world was, by the way, there's a real quick, and this just made me laugh. There's at one point, there's a character named Alan Gray, right? He's the head of Warner's or whatever, and he was always named Alan Gray, played by Paul Ben Victor. Uh, at one point when you first meet him, Vincent calls him John. Do you know why that's interesting? Because I mean that was a mess up, and he was not his real name was not John. He was not named John in the show or whatever. John Peters is a Warner Brothers guy,
Did you say
whatever
John
did
Peters?
John Peters, yeah.
Yes.
And so that is who I think they were referencing by accident, or whatever, and they left it in there somehow or another. It's a really big screw up in the world because they know him. He's called Alan all the time, and yet the first second he comes in there is like, yeah, John, I'd love to be part of the Warner Brothers team or something like that. And I was like,
Might
wait
have
a
been a
minute,
dig.
what?
Might have been a
Yeah,
dig.
it had to be because John Peters was the Warner Brothers Superman guy. He did Superman. He tried to do Superman Lives, and
He was Barbara Streisand's hairdresser.
yeah,
So yeah, so that's how he got involved in stuff. So yeah,
yeah,
he's not a very good producer.
he's not, and he's terrible. But I don't know if he became a head of the studio or anything. I don't think he did, but I think that was sort of the reference. It had to be because who else was John that worked, that was doing something DC, you know what I mean? Like that was just had to be some kind of dig at him. Anyway, random had nothing to do with this Insidious Last Key, but we have to stay on target right now. And
Stay
finish
on
this up.
target. Stay on target.
Exactly. Every time I say that, that's what you say. You know,
Because
perfect.
that's how the guy says it in Star Wars.
Yep.
Stay on target.
Yep.
Stay on target.
And once again, I didn't love this movie, but I didn't hate it. I didn't think it was terrible. It didn't bore me or anything. It was interesting, exciting. There was things that I did really, really like, but overall, I just found it to be lackluster, and stuff. So,
Well, I'm going to say this as follows what you had previously said. In the movie Grand Canyon with Steve Martin and Kevin Kline and all that, Steve
mm,
Martin plays a film producer who is supposed to be Joel Silver. And the director of the film I don't think it was Lauren Kasdan. Lauren
yeah, it was Lawrence
Kasdan.
Kasdan.
Okay, he had to apologize because
Okay.
they show him in such a horrible light.
But was he
That,
really like that?
well, apparently Joel Silver felt it was that he was enough like that, and you know that I guess the scene in it's a great movie when there's a scene in the film where they're watching a movie and it takes place on a bus and it's like
Right?
like an action film and they cut like the editors cut all the blood out and Steve Martin is like, where's the money shot, where's the blood shot, why did you take it out? And they're like, well, I know, we thought you could see it without the blood. And he's like, put the blood fucking back in. He like freaks out on them.
Right.
And from what I understand, that was something that actually happened.
Wow.
Yeah.
So they wow. So you had to apologize for like,
Yeah. So Lawrence Kasdan, yeah, actually apologized to Joel Silver. So
You're okay. Another one, real quick.
oh,
Uh,
then I have to find one.
the Girl Next Door. The movie with not the horror version, but there's a movie about a guy who lives next door to a porn star or whatever kid. And, in the
Yes, it has
movie,
Jack Bauer's daughter in it.
yes, and I have such a huge crush on her. In the movie, was it there's a character named Eli, and he wants to be a director and everything and all that stuff. Found out later that he was named after Eli Roth, who the writer of the film of Girl Next Door was at the editing room of Cabin Fever at the time that Cabin Fever was getting made, and he listened to Eli Roth direct everybody, talk to everybody. He kept calling everybody minions, and they put that in there. Had his character go, out minions, and stuff like that.
Gotta watch what you say, man.
You watch what you say. People are gonna write it down and put it into a movie.
Yeah, especially if you're a
And
dick.
call your name, Jonathan, you said this and shit. And I'll be like, I did say that once. Damn it. Copied me. But anyway,
Thought John had a bad memory.
yeah, that was what it also reminded. So interesting that you said that the Grand Canyon thing just made me think of that.
Yeah,
Do you have
good
any
movie
other
if you've never
ones?
seen it.
Are you done with that or?
I'll add for myself. I know I want to shoot Up in the Woods. I want to shoot a film director who does B movies that always wears a California cap and that he's making a really, really cheesy, shitty horror movie. And he gets murdered up there by whatever it is, Bigfoot, killer, alien, whatever it is. I know I want to put that. And by me just saying California baseball cap, you should know who I'm talking about.
I think so, yeah.
So yeah, and that's it. So I want that. I want that in there.
I'll do it.
Because I could use some exact dialogue and stuff like that.
I should say SoCal.
SoCal.
All right, I'm done. We're done. All right. Well, thank you guys so much for joining us. Next week.
Wait, we got to do rating.
That's right. We have to do a rating. I don't even know if I was like forgetting or if I just didn't want to do one. I guess honestly 3 stars for me. Like, wasn't terrible, just wasn't the greatest.
And in the world of Conjuring, I'm giving it a 5. I think it's the best one out of them all.
Out of everything that we've seen, even the Conjuring movies?
No, just the Insidious movies. Like it's
you mean
the best
Insidious.
one out of that
Okay.
series. Yeah.
Yeah.
Oh, did I say Conjuring?
Yeah, you said in the Conjuring series, and I was like,
I always say shit I don't mean to say.
I think the Conjuring movies are definitely better than the Insidious movies, but
I think Insidious is better than the Conjuring.
Oh, this is where it is. Like, this is why, we've got different opinions already anyway. I just, I find it's not like, oh, I like them because they're R-rated, because like literally we talked about this on the last episode. They don't feel like they're R-rated or are PG-13 rated, or whatever.
No, these
like,
should be R while
these
Conjuring
feel like
is
R.
PG-13.
Right. It should be like that, but it's not. And it's interesting because
Conjuring is horror. This is like terror.
Yeah, I think the third one's terror. I
Well, they're meant to
really,
scare.
literally don't think this is scary at all. Like I was not. I was like, I had my lights out. I was excited. I was like, you can scare me. Let's do this. And I was
See,
just like,
when somebody says that something doesn't scare them, ugh, pardon me. Um,
I thought that's what that was. That was part of what you were about to
no,
say. It's like that makes
it
you
just came out
yawn.
of it came out of nowhere, and I thought that I would let you look inside my mouth. Um, I don't find things scary. I don't find movies scary.
I
I've
do.
I've never understood it. So when somebody says that was scary or it wasn't scary, how can it be scary? It's a movie. It can't be scary. It's a movie. It doesn't exist.
Because it plays with your, with your mind generally. Like the first Insidious really fucks with your mind, you know?
Shit doesn't scare me. It just doesn't.
But see,
Books
once
don't
again, you don't
scare
believe
me.
in ghosts, you don't believe in any of that stuff.
No,
So
because
like
because I
that's
live in reality. I know that when I'm watching open water, that I'm not in an ocean. I know that when I watch Gravity, I'm not in space. It
but
does. I know when Elise is in the further, I'm not in the further with her because she'd say, "John, come with me. I need your help,"
well, I
and she
mean,
never does.
she should. That'd be
She might just be
that's gonna be
ignoring
the
me.
future of cinema someday. I swear to God. Interactive films where they just come at you and
Yeah.
that would be
So
fucking cool.
I don't
But
know. I've only found one film, and Donald and I did a video of it for found footage movies, and it's a film called Crow's Nest, and it's the only film that I can think of that ever disturbed me because there is a beheading with a machete where the guy's down on the ground and they're forcing it like this. And it reminded me of the journalist that was killed in Afghanistan and how they show them like cut his head off and everything.
mhm.
And that's before they took down that video. And I watched it, and that I thought was hideous because it was real. But this reminded me of that, of how realistic this head was, reminded me of that. And it
Maybe
actually
it
creeped me
was.
out. So yeah, I've never seen the actor in anything else.
Huh.
So that's it. That's the only movie I can ever think of
You
that
just
that
watched a snuff
freaked me out.
film, buddy.
Maybe, maybe. But it's
I
called
hope not.
Crow's Nest. So
I
it's a
hope
good
not.
film.
I hope
So
not. But
you know,
anyway,
but otherwise, I don't get it. I don't understand it.
and so you said
Now,
five, I said three. So
yeah, but
what are
I
you gonna
do. But I will say this: I do understand people watching a movie and kind of being freaked out about real stuff. So, like, if you're watching Jaws and you're out in the middle of the ocean, there's sharks in the ocean. So that I understand being afraid of, or even seeing Psycho and how people do get intruders in their house. Like you might be a little freaked out while after watching Psycho in the shower, with the shower. That stuff I get. So
that didn't scare me. I mean, but then again, I don't know. I think it was the way it was shot too. Just didn't terrify me or anything. But yeah, movies like Saul or Hostel, they're terrifying in a way of like if I went out somewhere and somebody kidnapped me. Like there was a time when I was in San Gabriel that I was living out there that somebody put something on my car, of my van, and apparently I found out somebody mentioned that that was actually something that kidnappers did, sex traffickers put something on the car, it was a clown shoe, right? I was like, what the fuck's this clown shoe doing on my car?
okay,
I
well
was like,
that would
did
clown
I
shoe would
ran
be
over a
creepy.
clown? I like it freaked me out for a second, and then it was like on top of my car. So what they said was what happens is they put the clown shoe on the car, the person goes around to the car, they look at the shoe, and then the person comes behind them and kidnaps them.
Does it
Because
have
they're
to be a clown shoe? Can it just be
well,
like a
it could be
tennis shoe
something that
or a
just
golf
distracts
shoe
them.
or
is something that distracts you from, because anything that's on the car that wasn't supposed to be there, you're looking at it and, you know, um, but that terrified me. I'm not gonna lie.
Well,
There's so many
that
times
would
I was
creep me
afraid to
out.
like go
Yeah.
outside at night because I was like, is there somebody out there like literally gonna try to fucking attack me and shit and stuff like. And then my roommate Jackie reminded me nobody wants my ass, so I'm fine.
Ah, good for her.
Yes. So she made me happy because I was like, you know what? You're right. Nobody
Nobody
wants me.
does.
Nobody
Nobody
wants me.
does.
I'm not a hot girl. Like, why would you? They were. I don't know why they picked my nasty ass van to like think, like a hot girl, like drives this nasty ass
I,
shitty looking van.
I've said it, and it's unintentional with the way that the person took it, but because it's mostly been with women, where somebody go, well, but what if I was attacked? And I'd be like, nobody wants to attack you. They'd be like, oh, how dare you? Why would And it's like, I'm trying to tell you that you're not going to be attacked, but you're
Right.
taking
Why
it
now you're
as,
taking offense
yeah,
because you
now it's
want to
like
be attacked, I
tax.
guess.
Yeah, it's like, wait, why wouldn't somebody want to attack me? So
Uh, that's funny. Oh man, I love that. I love that shit. Um, but yeah, it was wow, it's funny how most of our conversation turns to something that has nothing to do with the movie that we're reviewing. But hey, our audience, if there is an audience checking this out still, I don't know.
maybe, who
You
knows?
are, thank you. Leave a comment. Let us know. I'm still listening. We appreciate it. Um, oh man, by the way, I need to give a shout out to my TikTokers out there. I am growing my TikTok family for horror film lovers. And thank you, John, for posting that thing telling people to check out our YouTube channel because I really appreciate new subscribers.
Oh, you're
So
welcome. I should, since I'm part of it.
yeah,
So
you're a big part of it. And
yeah.
because really like it's so funny. So, um, it's gonna be announced next month. So, and this is gonna be out next month. So I can already say this. Sarah Atkins is leaving Horror Film Lovers podcast. And that is completely fine. It's a thing where she just has so much stuff going on. She can't commit and everything, and she kind of wants to focus her energies on the things that she really, really wants to do and everything. Understandable. Sorry for boring you, but uh, yeah. So so there's this like, people are like, I was wondering what was gonna happen with horror film lovers, but then I was like, I've got all these other shows that I do by myself, anyway. So I'm still gonna do those. Clips are gonna be on TikTok, and things are gonna, clips of this show will be on TikTok every week and everything. So it's just we're gonna keep doing what we're doing. Um, John, maybe I don't think you've been on the horror film lovers. Have you? Have you been on the actual podcast for it? Yes, you have once, once,
Oh.
once. Back in the
I
day.
just take it that everything is called a podcast these days. There is no vidcast anymore. It's just podcast.
Well, no, I meant for the radio
Like the audio
podcast. Yeah, the
version.
audio version, which is on Indie
I
Film
might
Cafe.
have. I've been on a couple of
I
those with
think
you, but
you
I
were
don't know which
on
ones.
one in the either in the first season or this. Yeah, you were on the
One of the
uh
'80s ones that you
no,
did
no,
with
no.
like
Well,
the
no, but I'm talking about the horror film lovers, which you were on uh the one with the one we did for Mike Flanagan. God, what was it? The
Oculus,
Not Oculus, because unfortunately we couldn't get you for that one.
and
Um,
it wasn't any of the House movies or the
no,
Haunting movies.
no, it was sort of
Midnight
a haunting, but it
Mass.
was not.
Oh, is it the one with the blind with the death check?
No, it was Before I Wake.
Oh,
It was
before.
the kid.
Yeah,
Yeah, it was the kid and stuff and whatnot. The kid that could like, through
yeah.
his I guess imagination or whatever, through his dreams, he could bring
Yeah,
and
yeah,
bring the
good
things
movie.
to life.
Yeah.
Great movie. But yeah, so you've done horror film lovers already and stuff, which is great. I may ask you at some point to do another movie, probably be like a Mike Flanagan one or something. So, but that's the thing. It's gonna be like 90s horror films or all the other ones that I sort of already do, and I just get a guest to come on, one guest to come on, and it's fairly simple, because you were on like the 90s and don't think you were on the 80s horror because that was with me and Rebecca, and I don't think you've been on that show yet, you know. Not yet. Maybe one day.
Not it.
Maybe.
Okay.
We'll see.
Okay.
But until then though, everybody check out our TikTok channel. It's Horror Film Lovers. I think it's Horror Film Lovers TV. Check out our Instagram page. It's Horror Film Lovers Instagram page. I try to update it every day, but some days I'm sorry if it doesn't get updated. We don't have a Twitter, so we don't tweet. I have a Twitter, it's Jonathan Moody. John's got a Twitter. What's your Twitter handle?
I think it's just John Lee Ward, I think.
Okay. Do you tweet?
I do. I put stuff out all the time, but nobody responds.
Yeah,
maybe I don't know how Twitter works.
Well, I think it's because yeah, the Twitter is hit or miss for me. Sometimes I get it. It depends on what I hashtag and what I'm promoting. Like I'll just use this as an example. I did a post on Facebook showing off my microphone. It got 100 and something likes about just on a microphone, right? So I put it onto Instagram, got like 3 likes, and I was like, well, this is shitty. Then I put it on Twitter and I got like 7 likes, So Facebook seems to be the thing. So there is a Horror Film Lovers Facebook page. You guys can check that out. I'm going to try to do more than clips. I like the clips. Clips are fun, but if I can do stuff, more interactive and posts, kind of cool shit, maybe some information about what's coming up because we got a bunch of horror films coming in this year, coming out this year, things like that. So
yeah.
But check it out, Horror Film Lovers everywhere. Just Google Horror Film Lovers. You'll see. I'm sure you'll see a ton of our stuff. And what was you got Dark Park Films, so everybody can check that out.
Yeah. Oh God, I can't stop. Harvey,
Once you start, you can't stop, can you?
Yeah, it was a busy day at work. Yeah, John Ward at Dark Park Films, and then I got the Twitter, I got Instagram, the Twitter, the Facebook,
the Twitter,
the Instagram,
the Instagram, the Snapchat.
Yeah, I was even looking at my Instagram today, and it's like, my God, there's a ton of crap on here because I guess everything from Facebook goes over to Instagram. So
I think you have to connect it, But
it is. Facebook asked, "Do you want to link the two?" And I said, "Yeah." And they don't post everything, but they post a ton of stuff that I don't want on Instagram. So I got to go in there and delete stuff because I never go in. I'm on Facebook the most, then I'm on Twitter, which nobody seems to care about because I think maybe one post got a couple likes, and then or hearts, whatever you want to call it, and then like nothing happens with Instagram. So
yeah, well, I'm hoping that Twitter fixes some stuff because I know people don't like the new guy and everything. They hate Musk. I don't care.
New guy's the same as the old guy. He's doing the same exact stuff. So
yeah, I mean, it hasn't really changed much, except he's getting rid of bots or something, which they need to fix this stuff because like what they need to do is do what Facebook does, which is they need to have groups, and stuff or professional pages and stuff like that, but they don't. So that's why I like my Facebook, man. So many different options for stuff,
There you go.
Bring back MySpace.
Oh God.
I want my 8 friends.
Oh jeez.
I want. No, I'm just saying. You remember how they have the top 8 or whatever that you can.
I never did MySpace at all. Never.
What? How could you never do it?
I was too old. I didn't care about MySpace. It's just like
I knew a lot of people that were old when they did MySpace.
I thought it was stupid. No.
Donald Farmer had a MySpace. He's older than you.
While you were on MySpace, I was having sex. So there you go.
With men.
There you go. There you go.
All right,
That's
everybody.
that's the difference between you and I.
Yes,
That's the difference.
very much. All right, we're done. We're done with this conversation. But yeah, check us out. Check all the stuff. The links will be down below anyway. But whatever. Also, we have our YouTube, and I do Mainstream Monday and Horror Film Lovers and First Time Watch Fridays. But I'm also bringing back Wild Card Wednesdays, so you'll get some of that. So we'll have some fun stuff happening this year. It's gonna be a great year, man. 2023. I'm already feeling it.
There you go.
All right, everybody. Have a good one. Talk to you soon. Bye.